Ready to hit the pause button on your parenting fails? Ready to feel better about your parenting? Welcome to Parenting Pause, the podcast, where all of you is welcome. I'm Leslie Potter, the founder of the Pure Joy Way, a mother, a parent coach, and a fellow traveler on this journey to wake up in our parenting. And I believe together we can make this a better world for ourselves and our kiddos. One of the hardest things I've found to do in my parenting is not to take things personally. Now, this can seem almost impossible because when I really began to look in my parenting, everything was about me, right? And you might find the same thing if you look really deeply. So every time my daughter would tell me, she would scream at me, "You're taking this personally. Don't take it so personal." And I would go, "But it is." And then I would pause and I would sit back in my seat and I would take a deep breath and I would realize it wasn't personal. She was actually trying to express and let me know what was going on inside her internal experience. And of course, she didn't do it in a way that my ears could always take it in. But I began to recognize that when I took it personal, I was believing what she was saying. I wasn't listening to the expression. I was taking the words in and I was personalizing them. And this is really hard to do, not to personalize. But what I want you to know is when your child is, screaming that they hate you or you're a mean mom or whatever, they aren't actually in their right brain or their upper brain where they can see correctly. They're down in their lower brain, their downstairs brain, as Daniel Siegel says. And this is what we call the primal brain, the amygdala. Now, I know you've all been there before, and I imagine when you're tired and you're hungry and you've had a fight with your spouse or a friend, that you probably don't say such great words either. You may say things that you don't actually mean. Because when we're in that primal brain, we feel so incredibly threatened. Our words are like a weapon then to try to get the threat to back off. Now, this is so important to take in because as you hear me, you're going to notice, well, then who's the threat? Well, we are. So I began to really take it seriously that, when my daughter was telling me all these things or screaming at me, I was the actual threat because I was pushing or I was pulling or I was forcing her. I had some kind of agenda. And so when I was going after her in a way, she perceived me as a threat. So she used her words to attack, to try to get me to back off. Now, again, this activated my amygdala, and then I saw her as a threat. And so then I would use my words to try to get her to back off. And this was when things got kind of messy, and I imagine they do for you too. I often said things that I didn't really mean, and you may also. So in these times, it's really, really important to offer ourselves and our children such incredible kindness, because the minute we take it personally, and you'll take it personally if you feel like your child is disrespecting you, that's the operative. They are disrespecting me. Then most likely you have taken it personally. And once you take it personal, it is extremely hard to take responsibility and see yourself as an emotional threat to your child. Now, when we're able to do this, this is when our parenting can become so empowering. When I wasn't taking it personally, when I really got it, and I really paused when she would be yelling at me, if I could pause and I could really sit down and say, I had a part in this dynamic. Nothing's happening to me. The me actually was the threat to my daughter. Then I was able to pause. I was able to actually listen. And what I listened to was not the words about me. I listened to her fear and her feeling threatened. And then I could back off, sit down, slow down, and ask myself, how was I in that engagement? How did I come into my daughter's room? How was I pushing or pulling or forcing or threatening her? What was going on inside of me? And this was where it was really important to make it about me. But what I began to make about me was my part in the dynamic. I didn't believe all the things she was saying from her threatened brain. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.